Personal question and none of my business, but are y'all dating?
How do you balance life in law school while still maintaining a good grade?
Dating a law school section mate, yes or no?
Welcome back to my channel, everybody. This video, there's been some creative differences. I'm just gonna start it there with how this video should be filmed.
Yeah, we filmed this video about 5 times. And you know what? This is the last one. It'll take.
So basically, we are both 2Ls at Washington University in St. Louis. This is my law school best friend. He's been in many vlogs. I would say you're the only co-star at the current moment.
Monopoly power.
Yes, you have monopoly power over the Madison vlog co-star market, but we are just going to...
Competitive market.
It's not a competitive market at all. We are going to answer your questions. We have a lot of questions to answer, so we are just going to... We're just gonna get started.
Jump right in.
I put a little question box on my Instagram, so if you want to be part of the next Q&A, go ahead and follow me right here, and yep, right there, and you will not miss the opportunity to ask me something. We have a lot of spicy questions, so we're just going to get into it. First question, is Nathan gonna start a YouTube channel?
No, next question. No, it's a little too much work for me. I don't know how Madison does it, so no.
So therefore, no, I think you enjoy the idea of being a co-star.
Yeah, I like being, unpaid and on screen.
Unpaid? Yeah, let's put that to rest too. I don't pay him for this.
No, thank gosh. Honestly, I really should demand a salary. No, I enjoy helping Madison as a co-star.
When can we get to watch your other friends from law school?
There aren't any. Next. No, I'm kidding. We have a couple other friends, but I don't know. It's like sometimes people are camera shy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know.
I feel uncomfortable. I knew immediately that Nathan would be okay being on camera. I think he told me in one of our first conversations that he wanted to do like a challenge or something.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
We wanted to do a hot pepper challenge.
Yeah, so he told me very early on.
Have you done that?
No. We did that with that chip that one time alone, and we didn't film it.
We were in a parking lot.
We ate we did the hot chip challenge.
We ate like a fraction.
Nathan threw up.
I was vomiting. Honestly, it was kind of sick.
Yeah, I knew he'd be comfortable with it. A lot of people, like, believe it or not, they're just not comfortable when you shove the camera in their face and demand them to like dance. Most people would not be okay with that. No. Next question. Does Nathan really like Madison's vlogs?
Yeah. I actually watch them every time they go up, and I like them.
Well, but
now,
why does he...
Sometimes I put them on, like, kind of like,
But why does he watch them? Nathan watches them to make sure that I painted him in a positive light.
Well, you took all the negative stuff out.
Do you watch the videos that you're not in?
Yeah.
Really?
I haven't, like, look, do I, like, carefully watch them? No.
You give me the AdSense money, though.
I mean, because, yeah, I do the AdSense money. Like, honestly, I'm around Madison probably, like, 15 hours a day. More
than anybody else.
Like, in the precious time I have not with Madison, it usually isn't spent watching her put her makeup on.
We got a couple questions about this. How did you guys meet each other? We've talked about this, so I will keep it very brief.
On the Slack.
Yes, he slid into my Slack DMs. He said, I've watched your videos. I think we get along, and he was correct.
It was Zoom law school. We were very desperate. And it's like you had to be you had to, take action.
You have to take action, and I just wasn't doing it. So I'm glad you did it.
I had this sad thing where every time I went to... So we went to campus once a week. Some of us did. It was like optional.
I never did.
And every time I went, I was like, I have to talk to one new person. And then one time, I just couldn't do it. And honestly, I felt really down because I was like, nobody wants to talk to me.
And so then you slid into my DMs.
So then I found...
And then we became besties. How has finding a friend who supports and understands you helped with law school toxicity? Has it? I think it's just the concept of shared suffering.
Yeah.
We are very... But Nathan and I, we complain a lot, but it's in a comedic way.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually we're sitting here complaining. Like, we're like just... It is almost funny.
It's a lot of jokes always.
A lot of jokes, yeah.
Yeah, laughing about like similarly shared situations where we're stressed or whatever. Like, we have similar coping mechanisms, so that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
I think part is like sometimes we also have a lot of the same negative responses to things.
Yeah.
So sometimes we can almost build up the toxicity. We'll be stressed about something and we'll feed each other's like anxieties or whatever. Like we both kind of have like little medical anxiety sometimes.
Oh, we both are hypochondriacs. It's the worst.
So like a symptom will come up and we'll both be on Google.
I know.
And then it gets worse.
No, sometimes I'll tell Nathan to Google my symptoms for me, and he'll be like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "That is not what I want to hear right now." That was like one of the top times I've been upset with you.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Nathan, are you
This is myocarditis. Right before pre-trial class at 9 o'clock in the parking lot.
Because law school can be a toxic environment. It's nice to
It's
have.
stressful.
It's nice to have somebody, especially because we're in all the same classes and all that
Yes.
stuff. Like, it's like when I have to go to class without you, it sucks.
That's what's such a rare thing is like almost nobody has somebody that they're with in every single class outside of one a year when you're in sections, right? So it's like we've kind of created our own little section where we do that, but it's like truth be told, like a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
So if you can find somebody that like a close friend that wants to be in a couple classes with you, usually it helps a lot because like we study well together.
Any advice for a second semester 1L specifically for oral arguments and briefs? The oral argument was literally my favorite thing I've done in law school thus far. I enjoyed the oral argument so much. I think the key is, and this is the key with anything, is just know your arguments like the back of your hand. Because the thing about oral arguments is they will just interrupt you and ask a question. And be okay with like breaking from your like outline and answering that question. Like, don't panic because it's gonna happen. Know that you can take a break from your argument, answer the question, and then find a way to segue back into your outline without it coming across very like mechanical. You know what I mean? Like, make it organic, make it natural, and have fun with it because it is super fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Did you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a ton. I mean, like I did debate for a really long time, and I did it competitively. So like I'm used to those kind of cross-examination questions and things like it's obviously a different style what I did, but like that doesn't throw me at all. And honestly, I don't know, like my biggest thing is just take a second to think, you know, what the question is getting at and like what your response is. Like it's okay to take a thoughtful pause before, because like sometimes people immediately try to respond and they don't understand the question and then everything's off the rails and then they're rambling and then it like you want to just keep your cool. Like it's a no stress event. As for the brief writing.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
I like do your best to break it up into chunks and work on it earlier. Like I cannot tell you how many times I was on the phone with Madison and I'm like doing my best to get the sections done like the day it's due, right? And whenever I would lose points in my brief, it was always things that if I had just taken more time to sit down and reword or like rethink or whatever else, certain small little phrasings or sections, that is infinitely helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I think another thing, second semester 1L, a lot of people are looking for jobs and that can get extremely discouraging. For me, mentally, it was really hard because I think a lot of people coming to law school, you're not used to rejection because you're typically very smart. If you apply for something, you get it. You come to law school, there are a ton of people just like you who have never faced serious rejection, and all of a sudden you're competing against each other. You're going to get rejected. Even the top people are going to get rejected for some things. Because sometimes it's just not a good fit. So I think mentally it's really important to understand that that comes with the territory. And just prepare yourself for that because that's just normal.
Also, just like at the end of the day, it's going to be okay.
Right.
Like,
you're going to find where you're supposed to be.
You're going to find where you're supposed to be. Like, don't think of it as some sort of, do or die situation. You're going to be okay.
I'd love to know his story of choosing law. Did you always know that you wanted to go to law school?
No, actually, as a kid, I really wanted to go into, like, medicine. I really wanted to be a doctor. Yeah. I wanted to be an immunologist. But ultimately, I started doing debate in middle school and through high school, and it really became something I cared a lot about. Still, when I went to college, I wanted to do, like, international affairs and work in the State Department. I started taking language for that too, and I just through my time there, I just kind of kept coming back to like the one thing I reliably and consistently like is debate, and the one place I could see myself in a stable and meaningful career that I really enjoy would be law. So, no, it was probably middle of college that I really understood like that's what I want to do, and I took a year off after I finished.
That was the next question.
Oh, did I?
Off. Yeah.
Yeah, I took time off. So I graduated in 2019 from the University of Georgia. I took a year off. And during that time, I coached debate at UC Berkeley. And that was a really fun year. It was like I got to travel a lot. I got to be with a bunch of people that I really liked being around. And I got to take a year to like really prep for the LSAT, prep materials, apply. And that was all, unfortunately, that was like lead into the COVID year. But, but no, it was a good year for me. So I definitely recommend taking time off. I definitely recommend taking, whatever you never have to rush. I mean, some people, I guess, maybe, but like that sense of rushing, I promise you, like 20, 30 years into your future, you're not going to remember that. You might remember, a large amount of student debt or other things like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good...
It's like, if you can take extra time and do your, like, Because truth be told, my little, here's my quick little plug. I didn't do super well, at least compared to what I ended up doing on the LSAT first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a nice scholarship from WashU, but I didn't get a great scholarship. And I accepted. I was still kind of locked into going to WashU. That summer, I retook the LSAT. So I studied for it during COVID and everything like that for another couple months. Retook the LSAT, got a better score, and re-reported it to WashU, and they increased my scholarship amount by a really generous amount. So that's
nice.
Yeah, and that's not the same. That won't always be true, right? Like, a lot of stars align for that.
It's smart though.
Yeah, but it's it is always worth it to try those things, because the worst case scenario that happened is that
you wouldn't increase your score.
Yeah,
and you keep
I keep where I was at.
Right.
So.
I think it's interesting to hear the comparison, because you all know that I did not take a year off, and mostly it was because, one, I didn't understand the importance of the LSAT, and two, it was COVID, and I thought, what am I going to do during a year off?
Right.
And I think gap years, if you're using them for something something that will help you, I think Nathan's gap year was very beneficial for him. I think for me, I was thinking the pandemic just started.
Yeah.
What am I going to do during a gap year? Yeah. And I thought for me, it's just smarter to start, get a year under my belt, and that's what felt like it made more sense. So it's situational, but I think there can be benefits for taking a gap year and not taking a gap year.
Take it for the LSAT, or take it for I'm going to be a paralegal, or I'm going to do something that's going to meaningfully advance my legal career.
What was it like moving into your first apartment? It was a little touch and go for a second. I was extremely emotional the first couple of weeks. It was just a lot of adjusting. But now, honestly, very happy with my decision. It's made everything so much easier.
It was during finals, too, so, we'd take an exam, and then Madison's get in the car, we're going home good.
So, I know.
So, it was certainly a stressful time period, not just because of exams, not just because of life stuff, but, it was kind of a last-minute decision to move.
It was.
So, but I will say, I've moved many a time, cross-country, locally, and Madison was very efficient about it.
All right, next question. How do you balance life and law school while still maintaining good grades? I think this is something that we might, knock on wood, we might be getting a little bit better at this. Maybe. Just a little bit. Last semester, I think we sucked at it.
Yeah, last semester was bad.
This semester, I do think we're doing a better job of understanding that it's all going to work out. Mm-hmm. We know that we can crack down during finals time. We know we can do well. And we're also just enjoying outside hobbies more. And I think that's really important. Have a network of people outside of law school. For example, if you want to join an intramural sports team that has nothing to do with your law school people, or even if it's with law school friends, whatever, have those things outside of that you are committed to once or twice a week. And you can't skip it. That's what we do with Orange Theory.
Yeah, we both started doing Orange Theory, and it's that has almost had a huge effect, not just in we work out 2 or 3 times a week there, but it's that has become a non-negotiable and kind of show we like that habit. I love that time. And that time isn't time that we sacrifice for other things.
Right.
That's kind of a non-negotiable. And now, because of that, I want other things. Our Thursday nights, we usually try and go and do some fun things with some law school, non-law school friends. I don't know. It doesn't have to, law school's a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to be busy, but it is very important to find time. I don't know, go on a hike. Yeah. Go to a local rock climbing gym.
You can still totally
Art,
get, you can get good grades while doing that. Yeah. If anything, you're just not running yourself into the ground super early and you feel more mentally refreshed because you've been giving yourself.
One of the passive things that really I'm glad I'm doing less of is just mindlessly scrolling on through YouTube Reels or through Instagram Reels, TikTok, all that stuff. I just feel I could easily waste 45 minutes, an hour plus. And honestly, not even remember anything I just saw.
Right. No, you're so right.
And then feel stressed and feel, which is not to say that time is never valuable, but it's that has been time I've cut down on to make room for things like Orange Theory and for things that I feel really meaningfully improve my life.
Yeah. Next question. Which one do you like more? Law school, in person, or virtual? Let's say it on 3. 1, 2.
I actually need to think on this.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. In person. In person is 100 times better. Yeah. I like the idea of having a hybrid situation. So on days where I didn't feel like going in, I could take class from bed. But then it's just a slippery slope of it's super unmotivating doing it over Zoom. Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to go in person. The last thing I want to do is go. But it gives you that structure to your day that I feel Zoom doesn't give you.
It's so critical. There's something about getting out of your house, seeing other people, and having that routine. I love when Madison and I would get up at 5 a.m. and go by Starbucks and then go into
I love that so
sometimes,
much.
When we're in the library, for some reason, we're just infinitely more productive.
Yeah.
Versus when we're sitting in bed. Typical.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Typical
or
behavior.
sitting on the couch. there is something about crafting your environment to be more conducive to productive habits, and going in person has really helped with that.
You guys want to practice the same area of law / work together after law school? This is sad. I'd love to work with, in theory, I'd love to work with Nathan after law school.
Yeah.
I think we are both in the litigation world.
Absolutely.
I'll be probably doing commercial litigation, which
Yeah.
is just basic like business lit stuff. And I think he's doing that as well, but we will not be working together.
No,
until we have our own firm.
Right, until Madison moves to New York. That's the problem. It's just geographically we'll be in different places.
Top 3 tips for getting good grades. I think my top 3 tips are to learn how to write a law school exam, because it doesn't matter what you know. If you don't know how to write that exam, you are like, you could know everything, but if you don't know how to pander, you're pretty much done.
There are certain professors that have opinions.
Yes.
Like our antitrust professor had an opinion.
Yeah.
Do I think that opinion like overrode his desire to see just like a well-written exam?
No.
I think what these professors want is they want you to demonstrate that you clearly are listening in class.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they have a little small example that they do that's not in the case book that was in class, or something that continuously is a theme they seem to care about, like our privacy professor had certain words or phrases that he really liked. I think the
phrases are key.
You know, like those are certain things that you want to latch onto. So yeah, like have like really show up to class. Like that's like kind of like the number one thing. Show up to class and do your best to actually read for class. Like do the work as much as you can throughout the semester. But like, I don't know, make sure your prep is meaningful. I feel like so many people just outline because they're told to outline. I'm gonna be honest, I honestly have not outlined for less than half the classes.
No, and I have come to the realization that outlining doesn't really do much for me either.
And it's like, we do an attack outline, and that helped us in some instances. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know, like a big part of law school exams can be memorization, can be like really quickly being able to spot and identify fact patterns and understand pieces that are going to fit together. I
found that Nathan and we will do a detailed review of our course, like go through it day by day and like actually talk it out with each other.
Yes.
And that has corrected so many misconceptions that I've had about certain things. Because I'd go into our conversation thinking the law was one way and we'd talk about it and then it'd be like, oh, I didn't even look at it like that. That's right.
Yeah.
And it corrects, like having that time where you're talking about it, not only does it help reinforce for memory purposes, I just find it more productive than me sitting and watching TV and outlining at the same time.
Use third-party sources, but not too much. Like, something we constantly did is we'd look up law review articles because they're great at giving a background or details on very specific little things. You don't want to look at like the proposal section, but like
the background section.
Like there was like something in UCC where Magnus and Moss, we were having like serious trouble understanding this weird quirk.
Right.
And this like 1980s law review completely kind of cracked the code for us. Yes. So it's like use those resources. Don't like exclusively just read the Horn book and hope that your professor is going to be okay with that. Is there anything else? Because this seems like an important question.
This does seem like an important question. I think
it's nice to have a person to work with. Too many people is a trap, I think.
Too many people is just...
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, agree. 100%. I actually like just having one other person.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I love that. We can kind of like, you're right, like talking things out, so critical. If you can understand and explain something to somebody,
you know
that is huge, right? Also, know the facts of the case. I know that sounds like kind of silly, but oftentimes professors will craft their exams based off of those facts.
Yeah, and it won't be the exact fact pattern, but it'll be like, oh, this is this case, but flip it and reverse it.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's something about this case that's similar, or they'll combine a couple of cases.
Right.
You'll be like, oh, this is this case kind of combined with this case. And then you have to talk about how the rules of both of those cases and how they would meld together.
They're trying to see if you can apply the law, right? So if you can identify like, this looks like this case we talked about in class. Already, you kind of know generally how did that case turn out? Yeah. What were the relevant points of law? And what did our professors say about this case?
Yeah.
Then you can kind of start piecing things together and say like, hey, this looks a lot like this. Here's what I think is going to go down from there. Yeah, the biggest thing, take practice exams and show them to your professor.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We do. Luckily, like, honestly, I think inherently we're pretty good at memorization.
Yeah.
And we both type really quickly. Like, those are just some sort of things that are, I guess I type faster.
I had those fake nails last semester that slowed me down.
Madison had these, like, comically large acrylic nails. And she's like, and like, you know, it slowed her typing speed down by half.
It did. It really did. Next question. How do you manage a relationship with law school? I wouldn't know. Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's funny.
I've done it, and I think it's like a lot more manageable than people think it is. People really think it's a death sentence. If you if you're choosing to date a law student, it's over. It's not. It just comes down to the same thing of how you prioritize anything else. If you want to work out while you're in law school, you'll be able to work out.
Get together and create expectations.
Yes.
Because I think one of the worst things is if you're like, yeah, I'll be home every day by 3. But no, you're not necessarily, right?
No.
Or it's like, there is a different, mode that maybe you'll have to be in during finals. You know, like if, we were gone, from like 5 a.m. to like 9 or 10 some days p.m. at night. Like, that can make it difficult to be in a relationship with someone who's not in law school. So
being
it's like,
open about it is important.
And sometimes like maybe that doesn't work for everybody, but like you do have free time. And honestly, I feel like there's just such a stigma of law students of like they have no free time and all they do in their free time is drink and everything. And it's like, that's true for some people, but it's like, you do have free time.
Yes.
Like so many, like seriously, look at your day and figure out what kind of time are you doing that's like, could be economized better.
Right.
Because oftentimes it's a lot of time.
Is there anything that you wish you would have done the summer before 2L? In terms of preparing for the new year, no. Not really. Because you have to think about it. You're 1L summer, you're working, and you're spending a lot of time working. Yeah. And I honestly think it was actually very nice working for me. This wasn't the case with you, but my job was very much 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I loved that because it wasn't like law school where you're constantly, I have things to do. Like, I actually got like, after 5, I was done for the day. Saturdays and Sundays I was off. So I really was just spending that time enjoying my summer. So there's nothing I wish I would have done to like prepare for 2L. You know what I mean? Because you're already in the swing of things. You know what to expect.
No, and it's like, the preparation could be like, I don't know, like pre-preparation for law review. You don't need to do that.
No, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. You'll be fine. Like, you have to do your job search. Focus on your job search. Focus on your summer job and just enjoying yourself. Like, there's very few breaks you have. One of the breaks we get is in August.
Yes.
Take it.
Yes, take it. Fully and completely. Does WashU have a barrister's ball or 3L prom? We do have a barrister's ball. I'm really upset because I wanted to go so bad, but tickets sold out really quickly. And we were kind of waffling on whether we were going to go or not, and we missed our window of opportunity, which is really sad, but we'll be able to go next year. I had this gorgeous dress picked out. It was emerald green. I thought it'd look so cute with my hair. Oh, like so sad that I didn't get to wear it.
But it's like, maybe we'll just go do something that night.
We get all fancy.
Get all fancy.
Get all fancy.
Get all fancy. Go to the local Applebee's.
I'd love the local Applebee's. That's just sounds like a treat for me. Tips for when you have so much reading and no time or motivation to do it thoroughly. This is something you start out your 1L year and motivation is here. And slowly but surely, it plummets. And you just learn to be okay with the fact that you're not going to do the reading. Like, I remember 1L, I don't know if you were like this, sometimes I'd read the cases 2 or 3 times. Because I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, he'll come over before class, like an hour before, he's like, haven't looked at it yet. It's just like, you start to get used to it, and I think there's a natural decline in the amount that you read as you go through law school.
And honestly, like, just find ways to make it manageable. Like, for example, Quimby, great resource.
Quimby is such a great
resources.
Yes.
Like, those can be... One way I find it easier to read cases is read a summary of the case real quick so you know the general idea of what you're looking for, and then as you read it, it's a lot easier to kind of get into it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, just like, I don't know, sometimes just, incentivizing yourself, sectioning it off can be helpful. Just like all the normal tips and tricks that it's just hard though, because it's like, the reading sucks.
It totally sucks. Something that failed for me was when I'd be like, Sunday's going to be my reading day. I'm going to read all day long.
We really convinced ourselves that you can't read all day long.
Like, honestly, the best thing to do is maybe break it, like maybe on Friday, in the morning you get up and from 9 o'clock until 10:30, you read for one class.
Breaking it up into chunks is critical.
Or just like you have a reward at the end of it. Like, I'm going to go on a walk after this, or I'm going to go get Starbucks after this, or I'm going to go get lunch or something, right? But it's like, recognize your limits and do things to break it up so that you can have, some sort of stimulation, something that keeps you going.
Right. Do you ever listen to music while you study, or is it too much of a distraction? I do.
I tried listening to classical music for a bit while studying. I know, like, that was just such a weird cliche thing. I'm like...
I just listen to whatever I want to listen to.
Yeah, it doesn't help me.
Probably one of the, like, 5 songs that I have on repeat at all times. Nathan and I, we are both the type of people that when we find a song, we play it into the ground.
Yeah, until it's done.
It's so great because when we each have a song, like we're each about the same song at the same time, we will literally be in the car and just be looping the same song over and over. And I was like, thank God. Because I do that when I'm by myself, and I was like, Nathan's cool with that.
When I'm stressed writing a paper,
he listens to weird music.
Like, it's like weird. It's like
techno.
No, it's like 2010s pop techno.
And he'll listen to it at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
On
just
repeat.
On the like with an energy drink. It's
kind of like a G6
on
loop.
G6.
That's kind of like the vibe that's coming off.
It's psychotic behavior.
And I'm just sitting there cranking out. Like this was the worst week of our lives.
That was right on.
Right
see
on.
My vlog. I'll put it in the cards.
See right on. Like honestly,
that did suck.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, so I do. When I read, I can listen to music. When I type up stuff, I can listen to music. Mm-hmm. I'll do the thing where, you know when you're like driving and you turn down the music to think about like directions and stuff? You know what I mean?
No.
Does anybody else not do that? You're driving and you need to think about something, so you turn down the music.
Think about something, but not
like
directions.
I'm like, wait, where do I go? I turn down the music. If I need to think about something else.
Madison is chronically bad at directions. She's lived here her whole life. Like, it's so... Like, sometimes... We were driving today, and she was like, turn left, right. And then I missed it. She's like, well, you missed it.
I did pull the old turn left, right card, which doesn't make any sense. What is your favorite current activity to do while procrastinating law school stuff?
Literally anything.
Anything?
Yeah, shopping.
What were you doing today? You were doing something today. Oh, you were watching that video? What? I was reading Family Law. You were watching that video of people in the 1800s having like a meal.
Yes, it's literally like it's like 30 minutes before class. I've not cracked open the book, and I'm like, what if I watch this person make an 18th century stew?
I know. I'm like, Nathan, what are you like? We will literally do anything, and I don't like anything. I'm trying to think of other things that we've done.
A bunch of shopping. We go to the mall.
Oh, let's go to the mall.
And we always kind of try to justify it. We're like, well, we like need to go to Target. Grocery shopping in Target, that's like our biggest. We're there every single day.
I'm like, well, I need milk again.
Cleaning the floors. Madison is a big time procrastination cleaner. Like, she squirt mops the floor probably like 5 times a week, even though I don't know if the floors can take that. Like, I think it's corrosive.
No, I procrastinate clean. That's like
But that's, like some people, they do like meth.
Yeah.
When they're stressed.
If I end up going to wash you in the fall, can we hang?
Sure. Next.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Did you ever feel lonely in undergrad, and how did you cope? Love your videos. Thank you so much for watching. Did I ever feel lonely in undergrad? Yeah. I felt lonely in law school. I feel perpetually lonely. No, I think it's hard, right? Especially in undergrad when I feel like you think everybody has such a solid group of friends. I also never really had that in college for a lot of other reasons, but I was never able to find like my group of people that I really got along with, and it was hard to watch other people have that, and I did feel lonely for periods of time, and yeah, it's hard, but I think it's a good thing, and I'm doing this now, obviously, is like learning how to be by yourself and find joy in your own company. And like when you're by yourself, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's like a very liberating feeling.
Well, also like, I'm serious, a big thing, find a hobby that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Like if you move to a new city and that's like a really rough time finding new friends for people, find a hobby you enjoy where you can like be surrounded by people that love that as well. That's a very easy way to find people. Like reach out to old people that, you were close to. There's a ton of people that I was really best friends with, really close with. And then, I moved away and it was more difficult to be in constant contact. But it's like, it's nice sometimes to call those people.
Yeah.
Or to, if they live in the same area, to meet up with them every once in a while to do something. You'd surprise yourself. Like usually people have more of a network than they think they do.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
It's okay to be lonely. Like, even a lot of people, when they're surrounded by people, often feel lonely.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay.
What is your advice to new 1Ls who are having issues struggling to grasp content? I think my biggest advice to you, and I'm serious, chill. No, it's true. Because at first, you're not going to know anything.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get overwhelmed and think, I'm not cut out for this.
Right.
I'm so dumb. Like, this is like, it's so easy to just become extremely self-deprecating and really doubt yourself. And I think it's common to know that everybody feels that way, and you will get it.
You will, and it's like, I don't know, like a helpful thing, a way to approach it could be to, read it. Like, Madison talks about reading cases a couple times.
Yeah.
That's very common.
Yeah.
Like, maybe read a summary of the case first.
And you still won't know what's important until you go to class.
Right.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, maybe read a summary for a bit. Yeah, then read the case, and then think on it, and then read it again. If you need some, look up some additional resources. Like, sometimes it takes something being said a certain way for it to click. Like, I can't tell you how many times professors have said things to me, and I'm like, that makes no sense, and then I go home and kind of like look up some law review articles on it, or watch a video on it, or something like that.
We're gonna do one more question, then the camera battery's dying, so we'll have to pick this up
in the car.
No, we'll have to pick it up tomorrow.
Part 2.
Do a part 2 in this video. But the last question for the day, and then we will magically cut to tomorrow, is who is the honest friend who calls out the other's BS? I feel like you both are straight shooters. I think we both are. I think I generally
generate more BS.
I have more BS to call out.
No,
I do.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it's like we both are very similar in our coping mechanisms and our tendencies. So in our tells, when we're like something is amiss, like Madison can tell like that when I'm in a different mood, or when I'm like, whatever else. So I think we're both very quick to like, hey, you're doing this little thing you always do.
Hey, let's not do that. I can tell when Nathan is spiraling, and I'm like, and I can tell exactly what it's about sometimes. And I'm like, Nathan, we're not doing that right now.
Yeah,
like we just can't. And like, I think it is helpful to have. It is so It's just like it's nice to have somebody to keep you in check. I generally think he calls it out more on me.
Well, we don't want someone that's like a yes person.
I don't want an enabler. Like Nathan has sat me down a couple of times and just been like, what you are doing, Madison, it's not great.
We're back to answer more questions. Welcome to the next day. I forgot to continue filming this yesterday. My camera was dead, so we're going to get back into it today. Are you ready to pick up where we left off?
Boy, am I. Yeah.
We are actually excited about it. I'm sorry, it doesn't sound genuine at all. We've been up since 4 o'clock this morning, so.
We went to an Orange Theory class at 4:45 or 4:55?
4:55. It was great.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
It was followed promptly by some naps.
But the naps could have been worse. It's not like we fully went back to sleep, Like it was just a nap.
No, today's actually been pretty productive, so.
Okay.
And we're about to go shopping!
I'll vlog that, so that'll be my vlog.
Vlog.
Yeah, well, I have a vlog going right now. Did you both go to the same undergrad? No, we met in law school.
I went to University of Georgia.
And I went to SLU, yes. Dating a law school section mate, yes or no? Would you date someone in your section? Like 1L?
No.
Really? I don't think I would either. I, for a period of time, categorically banned law students and, lawyers from the dating pool. I'm more open to it now, but I probably wouldn't date somebody in my section.
There needs to be a little separation of church and state. Like, what if that goes awry?
Yeah, if that goes awry, and, sections are small, especially you're in 1L, I just feel like there'd be a lot of drama associated with that, because law school is a lot more like high school than undergrad, just because there's not a ton of people, and you're with the same people. There are cliques. I don't know if I'd date a law school section mate. I don't know if I'd date a law school section mate, but I have heard of people, meeting their...
Yeah, they're...
Forever.
Yeah, they're
SO. Yeah, in 1L or whatever.
I would not I don't think it's a good idea to categorically ban it, per se. If it happens, it happens. And I know there's a bunch of people that are happy that are dating. I also do think a lot of lawyers end up with lawyers just because you're so consumed in your work. That's kind of like the people you meet.
Right.
But I don't know. I think there's value to having somebody that isn't... we speak our own little language when we're together. We're talking about cases, and that's, kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
And, sometimes you need a break from, your legal friends. And sometimes you need to have, it's nice to have a perspective from outside.
Yeah, so. I think I agree. When was the moment that you realized that you would be good friends? I like this question. Because, when you're doing, the surface level talking over Slack, you're like, oh, this person seems nice, but I don't know if we'd really be great friends.
Right.
I think it was just over time when we were together, I just felt very comfortable. And, I know, Nathan, I can literally say anything. And also, we are on the same wavelength, all of the time. It is so crazy. So once I started to notice that, I wouldn't say there was, a moment where I was like, we're gonna be, besties.
Yeah.
But, it was just, over time, I was just like, oh, we think very similarly.
I think the closest to, a moment for me was when we found out we had the exact same birthday.
That was very quick. That was weird. Because, like, what are the odds? 1 in 365.
Well, I think it was like you asked me what my sign was, and I was like, I'm a Leo, but I'm actually a Leo Cancer cusp. And you're like, shut up, so am I. When's your birthday? Same day. And yeah, it's like a 1 in 365 chance. Like,
I know.
And that's on top of everything else
on top
that
of,
we're so, like, did you tell him about the game?
Oh, no, not in this one, no.
Okay, so if y'all ever played Jackbox games, there's like a series of mini games and stuff that are like fun party pack games. And you do it on your phone. It's on online or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The premise of most of the games is just to, like, say something that'll make everybody else laugh and, like, vote for your answer. That's basically the premise.
We kept, across multiple games, aggressively repeating the same answers or themes or concepts.
We would both have the exact same answers, to the point where the people we were playing with thought we were colluding. They were convinced we were colluding, and we were not. And there was a point where I was like, I want to say something that I know Nathan's not going to say, and then you'd say it. We did it like 8 or 9 times.
I mean, it was just, and it was like, you know, we obviously have a lot of inside jokes. We're around each other all the time. It was things that were like obscure too,
like very weird.
And like didn't even necessarily fit the product. It was like a noun, like pick a noun. We both picked clown. Like it made no sense.
No, we are like that was so weird. Like people were like, Madison, Nathan, stop cheating. I'm like, we are not cheating. Like,
yeah, then they were just like, you're kind of weird.
I know.
how synonymous.
No, we are. I can look at Nathan. Like I looked at him the other day, and I was like, I know exact because he gets okay. Nathan was on his phone the other day. I looked at it. I don't even need to know. I know exactly what he's looking up.
And I was like, cauliflower.
Yeah,
stuff.
I knew exactly what he was searching. I was like, Nathan, I know what you're doing right now. Like we're just on the same wavelength. So it was just like little things like that where I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's even weird to me, to be honest with you.
Synced up.
Yeah, it's strange. Our heart rate's also synced.
Our pupils.
Sometimes at Orange Theory, our heart rate's the same. I look. What?
We're obnoxious at Orange Theory.
We are so obnoxious.
They start playing some bangers.
This morning at 4:55, we are singing it. Like, everybody else in the class hates us.
Yeah, no, they're all, like, very focused. And I mean, just...
TikTok by Kesha comes on. I'm, like, on the ground. It was just, like, it's just ridiculous. How do you balance having fun and getting stuff done? Any competitiveness? We've done better at balancing this. I think we talked about this briefly yesterday. We have done better at having more fun. And also just, like, even, like, I think back on, like, the nights where we're just, like, remember that night we were on campus, like, super late, and we were, like, doing laps around the...
Yeah.
And we were, like, watching, like, we were just, like, watching the SNL, like, Kavanaugh confirmation video, like, the skits, and, like, it's just, like, those things.
Survivor compilations.
Like, in the moment, those things, like, it, like, sucks being there, but I look back and I'm like, we actually had fun.
Well,
like, studying for finals was kind of fun.
It's mutual, like, deliria. Like, there was this moment where we both, like, we looked at the antitrust practice problems, like, a day or two before we were supposed to take the exam. Both of us got hosed. And we're sitting there, like, and we thought...
You could even say we got housed.
Some would say. You know, we were sitting there like, this is going to be fine. You know, we're going to take this little practice exam. It's going to be great. I'm, like, about to cry after this happened. And I'm not even, like, and also there's this woman that kept asking.
She kept asking. I don't even know if she was real.
I know.
I think we imagined her. A shared psychosis, yeah.
But she came up to us and she was like, we're, like, taking this exam. I'm on the verge of tears. It's because, like, truthfully, like, we've been in this basement for, like, a week studying this exam. And I'm like, I thought we had it. Evident we did not have it. This woman's like, back in my college in Indiana, they have a really long walk from. I'm like, shut up. Like, we're trying to take this exam.
No, you
like,
totally.
Please.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the next day, we're sitting there and we emailed our professor. We're like, please tell us this is what it is.
He's like, no.
No,
he
he's
said,
like,
this is not that.
And he sent a response that was, like, almost very cryptic. And there was this thing, I just started laughing. And it was, like, this, like, weird, maniacal, creepy laugh. But it went on for, like, 30 minutes.
No, you're so right.
But it's like Madison falling asleep on the floor.
Yeah, like, we balance, like, with getting work done, like, we do have our moments where we have so much fun.
The night before the UCC exam, where Madison starts, you know, dancing and dropping it low at 2 a.m. to...
It's listening. This was so funny. It was 2 a.m. We took the UCC exam at 9 a.m. the next morning.
This was touch and go, too, because we kept being like, we're not going to take it.
And Nathan is, like, listening to our professor, a recording of our professor's lecture, and I am just trying to distract him. Like, I am just dancing. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Nathan's, like, sitting there, his eyes are glazed over,
I know,
listening to our professor talk about the risk of loss, shifting back and forth, and I'm just dropping it low.
Madison's, like, upside down to a handstand on the wall. I mean, absolutely turning it out.
No, but we do have a lot of fun. We do.
It is. And it's like, yeah, non-negotiables are important. Having humor, like laughing at things, not getting frustrated at everything, because ultimately, so many things are minor.
So many things are so little in the scheme of things.
And they're very passing.
Are
we competitive? Yeah.
With each other, it depends on the certain thing. School, I'm not competitive with Nathan, and I never have. I just feel as if, like, when Nathan does better than me in things, I'm like, that's my bestie.
There we go.
We have 240 people in the class. Like, obviously, I want the person I'm best friends with to do super well. Competitive? Let's continue the question. My camera overheated.
No, I feel the same way about Madison in a lot of respects, but it's like, I think one of the, I don't know, like Madison said, there's 200 some plus people. Like, we are competing, quote unquote, on the curve, but like, we don't need to beat each other to be where we want to be.
No.
And it's like, ultimately, the benefits that we get from studying together and pushing each other to be our best far outweigh.
Right.
If one of us does better or not in a certain class.
Right.
Now, we do compete in games and in Orange Theory.
Orange Theory, it is like crazy. Like, Nathan will turn it up on the treadmill, I'm right behind him. Then we get to the rower, and I just annihilate him every time.
Madison whoops me on certain parts
of Orange Theory, and you do better than me on the treadmill almost every time. But it's like, other than that, we are pretty even in Orange Theory.
We did a tread row the other day, which is like mostly rower than some treadmill. And I'm like trying to keep up with Madison, so I'm like limping off the treadmill to the rower, and she's already kind of going, and I'm like hooking my feet in. And it's like, then she's off, so I'm, limping back.
It's fun though when we're competitive with each other in that aspect.
It is, because it's like, I push myself way more than I would alone.
So this is the final question, and I think it's something that we've been avoiding addressing. We've been pushing it off.
It on.
What? So this question got asked numerous times, and I just felt, I'll just read a couple of them. Will you guys ever date? You guys are back together, implying that we broke up and we got back together. Personal question and none of my business, but are y'all dating? You guys are cute. How long have you been dating? Who is he? I like that one a lot.
That's my favorite.
Are you two together? Because you look so cute. So, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
We're not.
And I'm so lucky.
No, we're not. No. We're not. This is Nathan. The camera's about to overheat again. I can see the little temperature icon. Nathan is my twin flame bestie for the restie. We are not, nor will we ever date.
I think the answer is not now.
The answer is not now, not ever, but probably.
Yeah, not now, not ever, but probably.
There you go. So
that's that answer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all for the Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have to turn this off because my camera's gonna overheat. So I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.